right, I'll call this meeting to order for Monday, January 28th. Selectmen's meeting. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we have one that I know of, agenda add. We want to do an executive session 4056C.
Yes, I need to discuss, tax acquired property where the original owner wishes to, have some sort of action and, a poverty abatement. Request for poverty abatement.
Any other additions to the agenda? Hearing none.
Motion approved as amended.
Second.
Motion by Jason, seconded by Velma. All those in favor?
Don't worry about it,
Audience.
Meeting's
over
already?
Just in time. We're in now with the public forum section.
Okay.
You want to bring anything up that is not an agenda item specific?
I could think of one thing, but not comparative.
Well, if you'd like to, now's the time.
Yeah, I just spent the last 4 hours of the afternoon, a school meeting where they're looking at, balancing the number of kids in classrooms throughout the district. And, there's gonna be a public forum coming up, I believe it's the 7th of February. And, first really discussion with the public to try to get people to understand what the fundamental issues are. And, so that's coming down the pipeline.
So in a nutshell, I think we've talked about this long before this, in a nutshell, you possibly could have Arundel kids that may be going to a different school because of geographically where they are.
Going to middle.
That's, redistricting the lines is one alternative.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
But
just
only one, there's another one on the table.
Okay, good.
Without going into details that, would not have the same level of impact.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Jack. Anything else?
I have
Can I
one
go
thing.
now?
I did go to an RSU finance committee before I left. I didn't ask to have it put on the agenda, but starting next month, they will be, starting their budget process also.
She finished talking to you.
Making notes.
Okay, good. Anything else from the board on public comment? Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes for December 21st, 2018. There's a typo there, Velma, that you saw.
Yeah, under Stone Ridge Farm, it seems that you were discussing the reconstruction of a collapsed bar.
My mind must have been elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, I picked it up right off, so I'm sure great minds think alike.
Contrary to that.
Okay, looking for approval as amended.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Jason to approve as amended. All those in favor?
I'll abstain since I wasn't here.
Velma, all right, one abstention. Committee and board reports. We don't have anything. No. Okay, so moving on to managers report. CMP Tree Care Program.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, I just provided you, the letter that was sent to the town clerk relative to the efforts that, Central Maine Power will start making to cut brush over 8 feet tall, stumps, treating of stumps, and whether they'll be using herbicides or so forth. There's also contact information there for folks that want to discuss it further with CMP. So we'll make this information available to the public so they can contact them if they so desire.
Do they have any specific areas that they're gonna do? Because I know they did it not too long ago.
If they have, they did not provide them within the contact information we presently have, so. But I'd like to give it to you because you may get a call from somebody, and at least you get a number that they can reach, or you can tell them to call me.
Yep. Okay. Let's see, we got the ACT Trail connection to the Eastern Trail.
Right, I wanted to put this on, I provided you the article that appeared in the journal about the efforts being made, and that the connection is finally created, which I think is a great thing. But I think at this point, I really wanted to recognize one of our own, Phil Labby, for his efforts to make this a reality, and his ability to think about a benefit for the community as a whole, which I think was great, and I wanted to personally thank him for his efforts to make this a reality. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, certainly carry that on, Phil, appreciate the work that you've done, and I know that was a big piece of that, and we really appreciate that, thank you. Is Dorothy, she don't live in Arundel anymore?
Oh,
Dorothy Gregoire?
yeah, she does.
Yes.
It says Saco resident Dorothy Gregoire.
Yeah, I saw that.
They got
Yeah.
part of the article right.
I wondered if Kenny finally kicked her out.
Smart
She
man.
makes him babysit all the time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to follow up, Dan, on the watershed steering committee meeting I went to last week. We're part of this, and we gave them some seed money, and plus the grant that they've been able to secure to do a better study of the river watershed as a whole. What I didn't know, what I found out at the meeting, is that Maine Healthy Beaches, or the group that's located here locally, had an intern over the summertime who did some, they had some money for him to do some water quality testing. And he did a lot of water quality testing along Duck Brook and along Davis Pond, which came back pretty significantly impacted by some sort of runoff, either whether it be stormwater or other means. What they were focusing on, they felt it could be stormwater and or it could be failed septic systems that are having an impact on that. So I was particularly concerned about what they found there in this next round of testing and monitoring that they'll be doing. We'll be focusing on these places that they've highlighted as being more of a hot spot, so to speak. So hopefully they can hone in and narrow down exactly what may be causing the effects that we're having here. But I found that interesting, and hopefully they'll be able to resolve, or at least provide us some guidance as to what may or may not be going on. So I'll keep you all posted as we continue through that process. But the end game here is to try to identify what's really having an impact on the river, and then try to really make an effort to clean it up and make it a little bit more pristine than it is.
Do you know where they tested?
They did not get into the testing monitoring sites.
Obviously Davis Pond, they tested at the pond.
Right, I tested the pond, they tested out the outflow, they tested at Duck Brook, at the intersection of Downing Road. And all those were, the high concentrates of some sort of, phosphates or nitrogen that's there, so. Hopefully they'll get a better handle on it, and have more data to comment on.
Thank you. Okay, time to start our budget review, eh?
Right, we'll meet, tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock here in the library. My main concern for that meeting, and I'll put together a quick, agenda for us to look at even further, but just to give you the general information that we presently have on the budget, our thoughts of where the concerned areas may or may not be within the budgets that are being presented. And primarily then to set up times that, of the departments or the budgets that you really want to see initially. My views right now, obviously there'll be, issues related to, wage, increases, and wage adjustments. I think we're gonna find that, we're gonna have to look at that seriously in reference to, particularly the Public Works Department. I think we'll look at that. I'm getting, a lot of, information from the fire chief, and there's some changes within his budget that, may have an impact. But as I reviewed some of that today, I looked at, it appeared to me that some of the other areas could be reduced to make the impact a little bit less. And then the other thing that, that we're really getting caught up in is the, our software and, needs moving forward. It looks like, Vision Appraisal is going to be, breaking out or have broken out Vision 8, which is an upgrade for us, which is substantially, it's $10,000 upgrade. So we need to look at that and see, and to ensure if it's needed this year, or if it's something that can be delayed. Then we've got the mapping and the software supports, that we have for a variety of, programs that we have. So that's what that was the crux of what I viewed today. The other things that we need to go back and look at, the request from the Recreation Department to put on a full-time programmer. As you recall, she came to visit you earlier, and we sort of tabled that until we get the budget. That may or may not have merit based on, what they, have spoken to her, as it warrants the discussion. And then I have a request from the assessor, as you recall last year, the assessor, or I had recommended maybe going to 40 hours at the park based on the volume. The pickups that we can do, the decisions that we need to make in terms of updates to some of our, tax, properties. We delayed the 40-hour, simply because, as I looked at it, I just didn't see, she was a little reluctant, she wanted another year. We're now at a point where she's recommending, the 40 hours. Looking at her hours of operation right now, we budget that for a 32-hour week, and she's on average working anywhere between 35 and 36 hours a week. So we're getting to the cusp of really thinking about, what we need to do there. So we should have that discussion as well. So those are the things that popped out to me as I'm putting it together.
Any idea, any evaluation yet on where we think we're gonna end up, or?
Not yet. I think it's still early. If we continue the trend that we have right now, I think we're gonna see another, anywhere between 5 and 7% growth,
We'll need it.
which will benefit us, as we move forward. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
those are the things that I observed real quick, and I'm sure we'll get a little bit more as you start looking at the numbers and start asking a lot more questions.
Very good, thank you. All right, moving into old business, my favorite topic as of late is the transfer station changes.
As, you know, I've had my, good friend walk in from time to time and give me his comments on the transfer station. I've had a variety of folks that have come in to talk to us about the delay in particular at the transfer station. So as I sent out to you late last week, I spoke to Roger and I spoke to the people at Casella's, and we're gonna sunset the travel limitations up there until the spring. We can get a better assessment, and we can also get the safety folks at Casella up there to make some recommendations as well. And at that time, we may be able to do some paving enhancements, some striping, and some very good signage that will assist us in whatever flow issues that we're having right now. I know that some of you went there this weekend. I've talked to a few of you before the meeting, but I'm always curious as to, once we've gone back to just allowing the flow to do what it's going to do. It always reminds me of the intersection in Algonquin, Maine. If you ever go down through Algonquin, you have Shore Road, you have Beach Street, you have Route 1, and it all converges in there. And for years, they've been thinking about what they should do. Should they put a light up, or somebody there to direct traffic? And the studies always come back and allow the people to do what they're going to do, and the traffic will flow. So I guess that's what I'm doing right now, is allowing the traffic to flow, and we'll see what kind of complaints I get moving forward. So that's where we are at this point. And we'll obviously, when the spring gets here, we'll be taking a good hard look at what we should be doing in terms of enhancements. The other thing is that I believe over the weekend, the compactor, recyclable compactor was still down. We have a capacitor issue that we've had in the past, and we've had this time we burned up some wires too. So Casella was there to try to hope to maybe get it resurrected until a new one comes on in, and they can set it in. So you'll see a packer truck that will be there taking recyclables until we get that straightened out.
When's the new one due?
Once it was ordered, which was ordered in January, it's six to 8 weeks.
March.
Yeah.
See you in March.
This whole change was predicated upon you and Roger having concerns about safety.
Yes.
Do we have any history up there of accidents?
Tom, we do not.
Yeah, I was wondering.
We've never been there with the ambulance, ever.
So, I may be jumping the gun here and just allow this stuff to go, but every time I go up there and I see cars backing around, I always worry that somebody's gonna get struck, but it hasn't happened.
I sat there for like 5 minutes after I got rid of my trash and stuff, and I honestly feel that, like, it might sound too simple to to make sense, but separating the scales, I think, would alleviate a majority of the congestion between trash and recycling. It's almost like someone goes to the trash, they weigh it, they throw it, and the guy turns around to leave, and they're weighing the recycling of somebody else to go in the recycling, which is right next to and the two scales are like 2 feet apart from each other, and everybody's like, and this guy's trying to get to the recycling bin, and he's waiting for him, I think if you separate those scales, even if it's one bin.
This Saturday, they were on opposite sides of the road. One was at the truck,
Yeah,
the
right.
recycling.
Yeah.
How did that seem to work?
It seemed to work okay with me, except the guy who was doing the recycling stuff didn't know how much to chip underneath. So he was running across the road to find out from the other. That's it.
Yeah, when we were up there, they had a chart,
Right.
They were going by the chart.
Yeah, but when it's across, if it's
Yeah.
across the
Yeah,
side, the
they-
chart isn't there, they gotta
Yeah,
go
it's
over
over
to the,
there.
Yeah.
I also still feel that getting rid of the demo out of that main corridor there, like putting it down by the bark mulch or something. I know Roger said you'd have to create a ramp and
yeah.
position the dumpster, and it might even mean positioning a person down there to. But
Yeah.
all it takes is one pickup truck to show up there that's loaded to the rails with a demo, and it screws the whole,
Yeah,
What we were thinking was to go on the other side, closer to the landfill.
and that would even work, yeah.
And, you know, build a nice pad there where we can get in there
Yeah.
and get rid of the demo on that side, so then,
You got room there to do
Yeah,
that.
you do.
You know, and.
yeah, according to the cap to the landfill doesn't start until you get to those, outcroppings of rocks that are there, so you got quite a bit of
Right.
space there that you could do something.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah,
And then, you know, in doing that, you know, you could, even coming around the corner, we could create an additional lane, open that up a little bit, there's room to do that.
correct,
You know, maybe have a couple lanes come around and put some good signage now to start separating, you know. Demo on, you know, this lane and, you know, but, yeah, I agree with that, I think that would be a better alternative.
I can just assure you that come this Monday, I got 0 complaints about the transfer station. And that's the first time in about a month.
Well, change is hard, people are gonna come, no matter what we do, you know, you're gonna get people that are gonna complain about it anyways, but, you know, I think it was a worthy exercise, you know, and we should just not let it sit, we can look at it again in the spring and see if we can make something a little bit better there, so.
I tried to be as nice to the public that was, it's always curious to me as to how people react to that whole process, and, most of them after we've spoken, they're fine, you know.
But- Like I said earlier, I look at that the same way, you know, the school is a gathering place for people, and the same thing happens over there. People see, you know, somebody, maybe every week or every 2 weeks, that's the only place they see, they'll sit there, they'll talk a little bit, you know, and with that setup, that kind of stops that, and that kind of,
You know, having discussions at the dump is a Yankee tradition.
Yeah. Plus the reuse.
It's never
I
gonna
mean, people
stop.
said they couldn't get into the reuse.
Why else would you go
to the dump?
Really? Yeah, you couldn't get to the reuse.
Couldn't get to the reuse room.
Because of, there's only one lane going
Yeah.
around, there was, if you wanted to go to the reuse room, and it, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it made it tough, so.
Yeah.
Can I make
Jack,
a
yep.
couple of quick comments? Last Saturday, I rode along with my wife to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
I've been avoiding going there. And, she had one little package, to leave. Three vehicles in front of us. The first one took 1 minute, the second one took just shy of 2 minutes, and the third one took 4 minutes. So we were 7 minutes in line there. And she took her package and, kid took it, threw it in. Since it was less than a pound, we didn't pay anything. Last Wednesday, or, yeah, this past time there, the other day, parking was perpendicular. The lane was gone, and there was no line.
No lines, no waiting.
Amazing.
All right. Anything else from the board on that subject? I think we've beaten that horse for a while. Okay, so you get some information for us on, Limerick Road redesign here, right?
Right,
Limerick
well-
Road.
I guess I probably shouldn't have phrased it as a redesign. I think this one is, the surveyor has gone out there and identified, the property lines as they could indicate off the deeds. And I think our biggest concern was how much of an impact that we were having on, the property right on the corner, as you turned off of Brimstone left, or, to go on Limerick Road, or if you're coming off Limerick turning right, we had that little piece there. You can tell that, according to Roger and I, we're probably, based on when we scaled it, 10 to 15 feet impact there, so I think when we remove the island area and reposition that road, we're gonna be able to get rid of that sharp turn onto that property and to make it a little bit more accessible. That was always my concern, that we may have been impacting somebody else's property with that intersection. And though we may a little bit, I think we're gonna be able to correct it very easily.
And will that little kinda jog in on a Limerick Road, the intent is to kinda straighten that out a little
That
bit,
is
right?
correct, yep. We'll give that a little bit of a straightening out. It looks like that, obviously the right of way is large enough to
Yeah.
do that. I think we're gonna have some apron concerns with some of the driveways that go in there, but nothing that we can't fix and make a little bit better for them all there. So, I think we're getting there. As we spoke very quickly, I don't know if everybody was here, we talked about it. The engineers have estimated this work to be about $149,000 to $150,000 if we put it out to bid. So Roger and I are talking now to see if we may wanna do this as an in-house project. And then, either contract or hire separately any expertise we may need to help when we're putting the road or redesigning the road. So, something we're still talking about. I never thought it would be that much, quite frankly, but I'm not in the business. So when I look at something, I'm looking maybe $50,000 to $60,000, but it was $150,000, so.
So is Roger planning on, presenting that for his budget?
Yeah, I think it'll be part of the budget process, yeah, when we get to the capital part and what we're doing with some road work the upcoming year, so, yeah, we'll have it in there.
Very good. Anything else on that from the board? Okay, new business.
It's just, again, has this been shared with the property owners yet?
I don't believe so yet.
Okay.
So-
We should,
We should go ahead and send it to all the abutters?
I mean, I think they ought to know.
Well, certainly,
Looks like.
yeah,
Lavage.
certainly
Yeah, get some
Lavage.
comments from them, yeah.
Yeah, Lavage, okay.
Maybe
Yep.
maybe Lavage would give up that little point for a nickel or a dime,
Yeah, maybe.
so make that, you could bring that Brimstone Road in closer to 90 degree. You're
Yeah.
never gonna get 90, but you could get a little closer
Right, if he had that piece, yeah.
if we had
They
that.
gave up a little bit more.
Yeah, if she gave up that point,
Well, that point is ours. That point's on our right of way. That little triangle right there,
No, the inside of that triangle.
No, that's her property.
no,
That's her property,
That point belongs to her.
this
right,
point right here,
Yes.
Yeah,
yep,
isn't this the line for,
yeah, but,
no, that's the, on the legend down here, that just shows the, what do they have here? Edge of gravel, I think.
right.
oh, it says
Yeah.
right of way.
Yeah, that little pie shape there is actually hers.
Okay,
And then you can see how the road goes around there by the,
yep.
They might be willing to give that up, they'd never be able to do anything with it.
right. That,
And we promised not to take down there. What are those, some flat, whatever they are,
yeah.
they're sitting in the right of way?
We took a couple of the big trees down already, so they're gone.
Boy, that was I never realized how big that tree was.
Huge.
Okay,
So work in progress,
good.
getting there.
All right, new business. 2018 Arundel Spirit of America Tribute.
Right, I wanna try to avoid as much as possible, Mr. Flaherty coming in and trying to, continue to push favorably for us to pick somebody that would be a deserving recipient for these volunteer efforts that are being done. I think what I wanted to do by providing this to you is that saying we've got some time to give it some thought as to if there's somebody that you feel is deserving, that we should, put their name up for consideration for this award, I'd be willing to listen to that, and I think if we can get a consensus out of the board to do it, that would be great. My plan would be to probably put something on an agenda come February, maybe March, that we can make a final decision prior to an annual town meeting. It sounds like they prefer to have some sort of presentation at an annual town meeting if they so can desire to get it done, so, I think that would be the effort that, I would like to see us.
Well, this is all about volunteerism, right? So
Correct.
somebody from town that has really done a great job of volunteering and,
So give it some thought, that was the only reason I put it in here, was to give it some thought, and I won't forget about it, so I'll give it out to you.
alright. Alright, other business, approval of payable and payroll warrants, looking for a motion for that.
So moved.
Motion by Velma, seconded by Jason, any discussion? All those in favor? Anybody got anything else they want to bring up?
I do, I think maybe it's the same thing Tom's looking at. I had a call late Friday, from a person in Tom's office.
Yep.
About trying to get, focusing on, doing something with food truck ordinance and the road ordinance here very soon, so we can get this done prior to the spring coming again and things,
We wanna do a special town meeting for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sandy Gay's my partner, she represents the folks around Overland,
Okay,
Tim Stanton, and they have a request to amend zoning ordinance or land use ordinance to allow museums in the B one
that's right.
zone. They're not allowed for some reason. And as we have the food truck ordinance ready to go, I understand that Bentley wants to get that.
Yep.
done.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a definition too, remember that Roger brought up the issue with the setback, we have two roads.
Yes.
Which I
Yep.
think that needs to get corrected too, so there's some small things I think that maybe we could get done, and Stanford has indicated that if we want me to do if we'll do a special town meeting, they'll pay the cost associated
Let's hop on it.
with huh?
Yeah,
Well, they wanna get it done. so,
Yeah, yeah.
I told her, if you wanna get it done, ask them if they'll pay for it, they said they will.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll work again with Tad to make sure that museum stuff's there,
Okay.
the two roads, make sure that's
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
And then on private roads,
Well, we gotta finish that.
right,
But
but we can do the
and then
food
we
trucks,
Yeah, we do the food
Right.
trucks.
we can do all those three.
The private roads probably won't be done until town,
Right, because we have to still hold another meeting with
Right.
respect to that, and then that's gotta go to planning board for
Right.
public
Okay.
hearing,
and then they
so.
got, right, public hearing, right, so.
Alright, so let's, we'll try to focus on those three, get them out of the way.
Yeah.
I know planning board was supposed to be discussing the food truck ordinance Thursday.
Okay,
I couldn't stay, but
okay,
it was on their agenda.
okay, good. Super.
So we wanna go into executive session 4056C to discuss tax acquired property and, property abatement, looking for a motion for that.
so moved.
Motion by Velma, seconded by Jason, all those in favor?
Good night.
Seven
Good night, Jen.
Yeah,
thirty-five.
7:35, good night, Jack.
See you later. You want the door closed?
Yes,
Sure.
sir, I'll get it. I think that